I was visiting Manchester on business from London. I decided to catch the train and arrived at around 8 PM on a Friday night. I had been using a popular rideshare app in London for the last few months and it was raining heavily, so I decided to use the same app to book a taxi from inside Piccadilly station. Within 10, the taxi arrived. Under the heavy rain, I threw my bag into the back of his car and sat in the front. The driver was very muscular and was wearing a hood. Not sure if this is against policy, but I was tired and it was late. In a very deep and genuinely almost sinister voice, the driver grunted, "Where to?" I told him and off he went. From the start there were a few red flags and I perhaps should have listened to my gut. From the start, the crazy bastard was running reds and speeding round corners with no indication, right in the centre of the city. I stupidly acted as though I didn't notice due to the rain and kept my head down. The train from London took longer than anticipated and I couldn't be bothered with any trouble. I just wanted to get out of the rain and settle in my room. He was driving so crazy, however, that he nearly skidded out at one point and I honestly fell inches from death. We arrived at my hotel in record time and he told me it would be £30. I gave him 30 and said thanks. Then I went to grab the door, but before I could, I heard the heart-jolting sound of the doors locking. For a moment we just sat in silence, the rain beating heavy on the car. I took the handle and it was locked. Rather agitated and scared, I turned and said, "Can you let me out?" He looked at me and in the same sinister voice said, "I want 40. I was freaking. Why did he want more? Was I being mugged? "It was 30. I don't have to pay you more," I said, standing my ground. "Fuck you," he said and tightly grabbed my arm. "Get the fuck off me," I shouted and swung for him, skinning his chin and punching his dashboard. "You're gonna regret that, you stupid fuck." He reached into his pocket and I quickly reached into mine and told him I would call the police. I was frightened and said this in a panic, knowing full well he could kill me before I got to the operator, but not knowing what else to do. Thankfully, the big driver seemed too stupid to realise this and locked his doors with a soothing click. His eyes met mine as he said, "Get the fuck out of my taxi." I got out quickly and before he started off, which I could tell he was gonna, I pulled open the back door and grabbed my suitcase out. It fell and splashed in the wet. I spat towards his car and checked into my room. As stupid as it sounds, I never phoned the police. I was scared in a new place and I actually physically went to attack him. I was scared shitless, so would he try this on others and jeopardise their safety? What the fuck was in his pocket? A shiver went through my body as I thought of a knife or a gun or some other tool repurposed as a weapon. I deleted the app off my phone and thought what the guy's problem was. Was he even legitimate? He was edgy the whole time and wearing a hood. Why did he want more and why would he be so vicious to get it? More questions than answers, I thought. Nowadays I tend to go for the more traditional taxi drivers rather than these potentially unlicensed mini cabs.
I'm an Uber Black driver. A few months back I picked up a man and woman in their mid-40s from a restaurant. They were clearly not having a good time and still arguing about something. Towards the end of the ride, he rears back and punches her in the face as hard as he could. When we pull up at our destination, he pulls out a knife and starts to threaten her and me. I tell them to take it outside as I drive away. I couldn't help but feel bad for the woman, so I drove to the county sheriff department and told them what had happened. Luckily for her, the Uber black cars have a camera inside that record the whole rides. When the sheriff looked at the video, he asked for the address and they arrested the guy later on. I also reported the incident to Uber. They called me and took a record of the police statement by phone. This was the scariest fucking thing that has ever happened to me. I drive full time, mostly Uber but plenty of Lyft and side deals. Generally the passengers are okay. I'm a huge guy and have their credit card on file. The real horrors are the same shit anyone driving bar closing hours would see. I average 200 miles a night, typically from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. I haven't seen anyone die yet, but I see someone almost die at least once a night. It varies from drunk drivers, no lights on the freeway, near misses, wasted college kids running into the street, sometimes police chases that don't even make the news, and fender benders galore. I'm much more afraid of the strangers on the road than the stranger sitting behind me. Now on to my boring horror story. 2 weeks ago, I drove two young girls home around 3 a.m. on a Friday night. They were quiet and polite passengers, but when they got out, I find they literally stabbed up my back seat, and my dashcam review shows that they were making handgun gestures at the back of my head during the whole trip. They paid for a new seat, full retail price. Attacking someone driving a car you're in seems suicidal, but drunk people are crazy as fuck. I watch the rear view closer now.
This is about to be one of those really creepy and unsettling Uber stories. But for once, it's from my perspective, the driver. I have lived in Birmingham my whole life and worked as a Tesco delivery driver for 4 years in the area. I recently quit due to not being able to come to an agreement over working hours since my mother had fallen down the stairs and had become permanently paralysed. With my experience of the area, even the side streets, and given my mum's condition, Uber seemed a great and flexible way to make money, similar to what I have been doing. I signed up and passed the checks and began driving a month later, taking some time to visit other family regarding my mum's state. A few weeks in, I was impressed. I was making about $1,200 a month. After Uber took their share, and was impressed with the total flexibility. I enjoyed mingling with customers and had some fun and delightful characters. And my fair share of arseholes, but they can wait for other stories. So, about 3 months ago, one of my uncles came to stay for a few days. Most people would have seen this as a chance to chill, but I often enjoyed overworking, so saw it as an opportunity to cash in more on Uber. When my uncle arrived, we sat talking for a few hours, Mum joining in as well, and I settled him into his room, the spare room, and ordered us all Chinese. It was about 11 PM and Mum was asleep in bed and my uncle was sat watching Sky News. I told him I was going and that I'd lock up and said goodnight and everything, and was signed into the app by 11:30 on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. I honestly forgot which. To tell you the truth, it was fucking dead. Who needs a taxi at this time on the outskirts of Birmingham on a Tuesday or Wednesday night? I sat watching videos on my phone and listening to music on my radio, eating a few packs of crisps here and there and staring towards lights and brightness in the distances around me. I was eventually notified about a pickup 3/4 of a mile away, and assuming there wouldn't be many drivers either, I accepted. I drove the distance and arrived at the edge of a shady looking industrial estate at about 12:45 AM. It may have only been shady because of the low light, and the group of 5 hooded men stood on the pavement nearby. I pulled up and said the guy's name. Yeah, he replied. I informed him it was only a 4-seater and he never specified more. Nah, it'll be fine, innit? I told him it wouldn't and that he'd have to order another, larger taxi or someone couldn't get in. Fuck man, he said. Don't be so on top, innit? It'll be fine, we won't do out, mate, swear. I was thinking of the money, but in possibly the most stupid moment of my life, I accepted this guy's plea, if that's what you'd call it, and told Ford to cram in the back. What was I doing? This was illegal and I was pretty sure breaking Uber policy rules. I wasn't scared or intimidated. Why was I so stupid? One of the other guys caught my eye and gave me daggers, threw half a cig on the floor and jumped in. The car was suddenly very crowded and very loud as one guy sat on the other's lap in the middle seat. These guys were some next level idiots, and they didn't hide it. Great catchphrases included, "Yeah, I was just shooting up in the bathroom and the bouncer saw me. I said, what the fuck you looking at, mate?" And, "I wouldn't hit that, she got chlamydia off Sean." Just to name a few. They were also playing some kind of shit grime off their phones, even though they could play it through my radio, which I was glad they didn't, and were distracting me as much as possible. One guy, the youngest looking, no older than 16, actually grabbed my steering wheel from the back seat and tried turning it. I pushed him sternly away to a chorus of "Whoa!" from his mates and "Fucking hell kid, chill out" from the boy. The car slowly began emptying as I dropped the guys off in a slew of shady looking housing estates in some pretty crime riddled areas. Not nice, I know, but true. As I say, I know my way round Birmingham and I wasn't saying this based on looks alone. Soon it was just me and the guy who ordered the Uber. Let's, for the sake of this story, call him Angus. Angus lived 2 miles away from the last drop and we went most of the way in silence. Angus with his hood up, light illuminating from his phone. He was sat in the back, behind the passenger seat, and about halfway through, he unbuckled his belt and shuffled to behind me, saying in a low tone, "Soz man, I'm uncomfy." Back to silence. We came to a set of red lights at a dead junction. No cars, no people. It all happened so fast and, in a blur, I felt an arm begin to lightly choke me and a cold, sharp object poking my neck. Angus leant forward and told me to drive down an alley that was in sight. I obey and parked up. "Turn off the fucking lights," he said. I did. "Give me your money," he said. I gave him the £80 I had made off his friends and said that was all I had. When he got angry, I told him to check and said, "How many customers do you think I get at this time on a weekday?" He seemed satisfied and asked for my phone. I gave it him and he asked for the passcode. I gave him a wrong one, hoping he wouldn't check straight away. He did. I felt my nose split as he pushed my head hard off the dashboard. I felt warm blood run over my mouth. "What's the fucking passcode?" This time, I told him. He unlocked it and smirked, the blade still pressed into my neck. "Drop me off at..." Then the address of a local Tesco. I drove him there and let him out. Without a second glance, he just sprinted off. I let out a heavy breath and began to cry. I drove home and got in close to 2 AM. I woke my uncle and told him. He phoned the police and drove me to A&E. The police came and I filled them in on what I knew. I never properly saw his face and the name he had given was false. CCTV lost track of him soon after he left Tesco car park and led to a dead end. I was kept updated for around a month and last I heard, he was never caught. Because of this, and the fact the police are slowly winding down the investigation, makes this feel like an isolated case. Why me? Why? This took a toll on me for a few weeks as I took the time off to spend with my mum and take my mind off things. I tried tracking my phone but it went dead and I just started driving again last week and I'm still nervous. It scares me to think this guy is still out there. In the area I operate in. And I just wanted to share this to better inform people. And to get it off my chest. Hey guys, as always, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and like for more. If you have any ideas or recommendations for videos, leave a comment below. And I'd just like to give a huge shout out to Creepy Face for collaborating with me on this. We have a similar video over on his channel, so go over there to check that out. I've got a narration on there. So thanks very much guys, peace out.